Hi everybody, the last installation that I made of this series was February 17th of 2025, and although it was made in the year that I'm making this video, it was also made about 4 months ago, and I haven't made a tier list video since. So, since I quit Star Rail, I decided that I would also do tier list videos for other games like Wuthering Waves or ZZZ. This is going to be the Wuthering Waves version of this, so it's going to be the same thing as the Star Rail format. I found a tier list online, and I'm going to be ranking the character. I'm going to be using the character to rank how their PV was, like their video or whatever it's called, their Resonator showcase. And let's just see what happens. So for reference, if we go here real quick, the only Resonator showcases I've watched is, well, the only one that I know and I've watched is fucking I think Camellia, and that's really it. I might have watched others, I'm not sure, but I do know that I watched Camellia's PV, and it was pretty good. I don't really remember any Wuthering Waves PVs that were like S tier worthy, but that might change depending on what happens, so we'll just have to see. Anyways, let's get started. And this is going to be Sanhua Showcase. Let's see how things have changed from whenever this was made to now. Also, like stuttering on my speech. I'm not using a script, so it's a bit hard. That is right, it is Future Agger, and just as stupid as ever, and forgetting to unmute the fucking desktop audio. It's not like I didn't use like a different like setting. I used the same exact settings. Both had desktop audio muted. However, the other one, it doesn't matter because that one doesn't need desktop audio. It's just gonna be me going over favorite characters without using any sort of sound or anything. So I thought to make it up, I feel like the best course of action is to go over how I thought about every character trailer while playing it a little bit in the background until it's done and I'm done explaining stuff. So I'm going to let myself here give a small summary, and then me who recorded the video is going to give a summary I had back then. Here is a quick example while using the Sanhua video. Now, for starters, the Sanhua video was pretty solid. What I do remember is that for a 4-star animation, it was pretty solid. And although it wasn't the best thing I've ever seen in terms of like character trailers, it did do a good job of selling the character. And I watched this one along with Altos in JP, but that was just a big waste of time because I couldn't even read the subtitles in English, so there's that too. So anyways, I decided to put Sanhua in a B tier. I think that's fair. Now, the one thing that's convenient about this playlist is that it goes from the least recent to the most recent, kind of, because I don't think they added Lupa yet, which I'm just gonna say that for another video. Like, if it's not added there, I might as well just say, hey, to be continued, and there you go. That's how we solve that issue. So as you can see, the structure is very easy to understand. Pretty much I'm going to go over my small thoughts, then I'm going to go over what tier I decide to put the character in. If you want to see where these character trailers are, just go to the Wuthering Waves official YouTube channel and find Resonator Showcase. That is the character trailers. The other ones are not. That entire playlist shows every single character. You will know right away that is the right playlist. Anyways, that is enough introduction. From now on, the only talking that I'll be doing is probably plugs, and also just doing the thing that I said I was going to do, which is reviewing my analysis on the character trailer and giving my final thoughts by showing you what I said in the video. Anyways, without further ado, the video is now properly going to get started. Now, as already said previously, the next character that I went over is Alto. I remember saying that this character had a very okay character trailer because it goes well with the theme of his character, but at the same time, the PV is just okay in general. Compared to what you guys are going to see later on, it's just not as good as the other, like, 5-star PVs, which is entirely fair. It's like Dreammark getting a 4-star pretty much. It's not exactly going to be that good. But they did do a decent job considering it was a 4-star PV. So with that being said, older me decided to do this. I think it was after I ranked Alto, I decided to go over Sanhua and Alto's JP versions, but also, as already said previously, I couldn't exactly get an accurate description from those two because the audio was in JP, which is what I'm used to hearing, but the subtitles were in Japanese, which is entirely fair. Because, like I said in the video, this is Wuthering Waves JP, so you can't exactly, like, it wouldn't make sense for them to, like, do English for the JP account. Like, there's a separate account for that, so it kind of wouldn't really make sense in there to do that. Anyways, the final ranking that I decided to put Alto in was... Hey, that was really solid. So the next character on the list is going to be Donjin in this order, and the best part about this is that this is the last 4-star PV that we get in this video. So after that, it is only going to be 5-star character PVs. Anyways, my overall thoughts about the Donjin trailer is just that, again, it was a 4-star trailer, it was okay, but it did do a pretty good job. That was clean! So my final ranking for Donjin for her character trailer was this. I'll put it in the same... I'm gonna put it above Alto, though, because just, like, everything was perfect in that PV, like, when it came to her theme. Just, again, the quality was just, like, meh. Which is fine, I don't really, like... That's fine, it doesn't really matter. The very first 5-star character PV that we get in this video is Jianshin, and the reason why I liked this one is because of how silly it was. It was a pretty okay trailer overall, but I do like the silliness theme and, like, going on a quest to get the customer their, like, most desired item. It was pretty nice, and the sequence between, like, showing her combat abilities and all that was very, very well done. So, with that being said, my final ranking was... I'm gonna put her above Alto as well. Okay, well, next is Encore's. Now, I say it in this tone because Encore's PV was so annoying. I think I said this in the video already, but, like, I'll just let past me say it for me. I'm gonna give you guys a reason why I don't exactly like that PV. So, first of all, it's not my speed at all. That was very unbearable to look at, because I just didn't like hearing that, like, for however long that was. That was 4 minutes? The longest one so far? Yeah, when it said that she was just drowning, I was like, okay, thank God, it's gonna be over. And she said, but wait, there's time for an encore, and I was like, oh, fuck. Now, rest assured, the rest of this tier list was not as bad as that PV. It was slow, it was long, it was annoying, and I think I already mentioned this in a video, but I'm used to hearing, like, baby noises from, like, Honkai Star Rail with, like, Mem going, mem, 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 mem. It wasn't really that bad because it would be Mem talking, like, every so often. Those puppets were talking every 5 seconds! They were a part of the main dialogue, and it just made it unbearable to look at. But I still watched it so I could make a careful evaluation and not get called a fraud for not looking at all of it and all that shit. It was so bad. Anyways, Ling Yang is not exactly the best unit, but he did come in the best clutch. Ling Yang, as a PV trailer, did an incredible job. There is a compelling story that we had to go through with, like, him and, like, the Jingle Bee stuff and all that, and it told a really, really good, like, deep story about this character, which is the first of its kind in this, video. And there is more to come, but Ling Yang was the first one to do this, and they did it really, really well. Not to mention, towards like the halfway point, it started playing like a custom song, and that immediately hooked me because the transition was just so good. So with my biggest honor, I bestow to Ling Yang, the first in this video. I think that might be our first S tier. Just because, like, compared to all the other ones, nothing had as much depth as what that had. It showed his backstory, it showed his combat abilities, it also showed, like, him overcoming his shock. That was just a triumphant-ass thing to watch, and it was really fucking good, too. And then, right after Ling Yang, comes a PV for one of my favorite characters in the game, Jian. And guess what? Jian also had a similarity to Ling Yang's PV. It showed his backstory along with some present events happening in the main story, which wasn't in any of the other, like, PVs. That's a really nice unique touch because it gives, like, more of the story to the PVs as well, which it is also shown in the future a bit. But the way that they do it in Jian's with, like, Genshu Lin appearing and all of that, it's just really, really well done. Plus, not to mention the transitions between skills and all that was just incredible. So, of course, since it was just as good as Ling Yang, why not put it in the same tier as Ling Yang? So, I think you know exactly where Jian's gonna go. Honestly, him and Ling Yang are very, very close because they both had very, very good PVs. I really liked how the little interaction between Genshu Lin was also there as well. That really added to the PV. That was very good. Next up is Yin Lin's PV, and I really, really like this one because of the unique theme that it had throughout its entire thing. Yin Lin, now that I'm looking back at her, really reminds me of Jane Doe from ZZZ because of that whole, like, infiltration, like, secret agent type of vibe that I have. And it's very nice to see that executed so well. Not to mention that, as I think I already said this in the video, but I'll just keep it short. This is the second character to release, and she is arguably, well, not arguably, she was more anticipated than Jian, because she was one of the first mommy characters to release in the game, so people were really excited for her. And this video did an absolutely perfect job of getting people hyped to see this lady. So, I mean, obviously, I think you know where this is gonna go. Now, before I place Yinlin in the tier that we all know she's gonna go in, I had to expand the tier list because I anticipated that there would be way too many S tiers during this video because the quality in PVs just kept going up. Kuro Games kept making the PVs even better as time went on, to the point where there was, like, barely any more A tiers by the end of this video, if not none at all. Okay, so I made a minor adjustment to the tier list because by the looks of it, I think the PVs are just gonna get so much better from here on out. Cause, like, we put 3 things in S tier in a row, I had to switch it up somehow. Like, it's kind of nuts. So that's why I kind of made these changes. So yeah, I put the liberty of putting Yinlin in there, like, automatically, just because, like, she's the reason why I had to expand it. Because that was just such a good PV. Now, the ironic part is that instead of having, like, a very, very long streak, like, beyond 3 S-tier PVs in a row, we ended up going a little bit lower because of Jinxi's PV. Now, don't get me wrong, the theme of Jinxi's PV was really good, not to mention that the PV itself was, like, not bad at all. Its animation and style was, like, really, really good considering, like, Jinxi's role and, like, the theme of Jinzhou and all that. But it just didn't really connect to me like the other ones did. It just felt okay. So, respectfully, this is where Jinxi went. One thing I do want to comment on is the first-person perspective type of thing they had going there was a very, very good idea. It was very creative. Now, imagine they did that for someone like Yinlin. People would be losing their minds. Like student, like teacher, one of my favorite characters, Changli, also had a pretty okay PV. Now, Changli's PV didn't exactly do anything entirely new, unlike Jinxi's PV where we had a first-person point of view type of thing going the entire time. So I kind of just placed her there because, like Jin C's, her PV wasn't exactly bad. The problem that I had was that there was just like nothing special about it. So, as you can see from the following clip, I'm gonna put her below Jinchita because although it was good, again, just like don't get me wrong here, although it was good, it just didn't really have much behind it. Like, I love Chang Li. Chang is a great character, but like, I'm not looking for character bias. I'm looking to see if the character is like actually like good, because I hate Jin Shi, I put her in A tier. I hate Encore, I put her in D tier. I don't exactly like Dungeon, but I put her in A tier. You see what I mean? Like, I'm not looking for like, is my favorite character gonna pop off? I'm looking for, does my character, if they are my favorite character, do they have a good PV? As she just saw mentioned, there is a reminder of what this tier list is. This tier list isn't to rate what my favorite PVs are based on my favorite characters. It's to rank what my favorite PVs are based on what my favorite PVs are. If a character I hate ends up doing a really good PV, whoop-de-do, they do a good job. It's okay. It's okay to admit that. But I'm not gonna, like, sit here and be biased, like, just because I like, for example, Camellia more, and then I give her an unfair ranking in comparison to someone like Carlotta when her PV was probably going to be a lot better anyways. It just makes no sense. Anyways, moving on, Jaja is probably one of my favorite WuWa PVs of all time, because not only does it include a little bit behind Jaja's story, it also includes a bit of a message within the actual PV. And not to mention just the overall atmosphere, the PV's like goofy, it's really funny. But back to the main thing I said before, the message behind it. This might not have been intentional, it might have not, but the one thing that I see as a theme in this video is artists struggling with commissions because of unsatisfied customers and all of that, because of their unreasonable demands. That is what happens in graphic designing worlds and all that, so I feel like them highlighting that was a really, really sweet touch because it puts a little bit of realism into the actual, like, video game. I find it to be very cool. So, with all the positive things I'm saying, with how innovative this PV was, I think you already know where Jaja's gonna go. Just the voice acting and everything was just incredible in that trailer. Also, one funny thing is that Jaja in English in JP sounds light years different. I'm just gonna point that out. Shirley's PV is also very, very interesting. It follows the theme of triumphing over your dark past and succeeding in, like, making a better version of yourself. And the way they do this, and I think I like this a lot, is Shanglia loses his arm, and then he gains it back by absorbing his darker self, and then overcoming the enemies in front of him. It's a really, really, really cool way of showing that theme. That is awesome! Plus, just, like, the skills in Shanglia in general, he's just, like, really, really cool. And I think with that, I think you already know where he's gonna go. It might be a little bit of bias, I just kind of like judging him a little bit more. What I will say, though, that transition into how he gets his robotic arm, not to mention the transition between 3D and 2D, all that stuff, and the build-up in the story was just incredible. It was incredible. Impeccable. So, Shorekeeper is a very interesting, because I put her in the S tier area, but I'm not going to tell you where exactly she is. I'm just going to hint it out as I talk. So, anyways, Shorekeeper's PV is very, very good. The story they tell about, like, how Shorekeeper, like, struggles with, like, being a part of the... I think that she's a part of the Tempest system. I don't exactly remember that part, like, completely. But I do know that she's, like, struggling with, like, herself. But the one thing that really, really caught my eye was the two Rovers talking in each of your ears. Like, one gender in the other ear, one gender in the other ear. It was a really, really cool concept. That alone earned my respect as, like, them trying, like, new stuff, as, like, new ways to show, like, both Rovers so they don't, like, seem sexist or something. And I just really, really like that. So, I think I might explain my rankings here, but here's how I ranked Shorekeeper here. Now, it was great, but I think I'm just gonna put her above Ling Yang, just because, like, although it was beautiful, it doesn't exactly bump as much as the other ones. It is perfect for Shorekeeper though, so I am going to give it that. Camellia's PV. Camellia's PV. It is a very, very fitting PV for Camellia, and plus, when I saw this, and everyone saw this, they were looking forward to seeing Camellia because she was also a very anticipated character, like, during 1.0 when she was revealed. So, this was a very, very important PV for her, and let's just say that things succeeded. People made so many jokes and so many, like, comments about, like, how crazy she was, or, like, how I think her Chinese voice actor was, like, so into it with the voice acting. It was just a perfect PV for Camellia. So, I think you get the pattern by now. Anyways, I think I liked Camellia's PV a lot when it came out due to bias, but now that I'm seeing it again, it was really just, like, fine. It wasn't bad at all, like, don't get me wrong, this is a really good PV, but I think where I'm gonna put this is below Shorty. Below Shorty. Now, as a returning viewer, you may know that Camellia is close to Cartifia when it comes to being one of my favorite characters in the entire game. They're both pretty much tied. So, as a returning viewer, if you are one, you're probably wondering, wait, why did you put Camellia in a tier below the others that you don't like as much? Well, how about you at least listen to my reasoning first? Doesn't have as much depth as the 5 here. You know what I mean? Like, what's it called? Yinlin's here, it's really good because, like, again, like, for Yinlin and Gion, it does a really good job of previewing the character for you. For Zhang Liao and Zhezhe, it does that along with showing their character and their stories, along with Zhezhe providing, like, a message. We have yet for something to top that yet. So maybe Carlotta is going to do that. And I'm very tempted to switch this to JP so I could hear Rin Tosaka talking to me. So, Braxophone jokes aside, of course, the 2.0 PVs have a very drastic change both in quality and creativity. You'll see what I mean later down the road, but just watch for now. Version 2.0 begins a new era for Wuthering Waves, the Resonator saga. And since it is going to be a new region, there's obviously going to be new characters. Carlotta is going to be the first character to release in the 2.0 saga, so, as per the pressure for units like Jian and Yinlin, she has a lot of pressure to be a unit that stands out and looks worth pulling with this PV. And, they popped the fuck off with this PV. The theme is absolutely incredible. It is unique, unlike any of the other themes we've seen so far. They have not done this yet. The special part about this PV is that they utilize the fact that Carlotta is in a rich scene. And this little thing that's happening is that one of her allies was murdered by one of the other families. So they make this little play type thing as like a little way of Carlotta getting back in a dramatic way. And the way they execute this is so unbelievably perfect. I absolutely loved what they did here. Now, not only as the first 2.0 PV did she end up in S plus tier, she did something even better. Carlotta not only gave us a backstory as to what's happening in Resonator, she also gave us a glimpse as to what she's willing to do to avenge those closest to her. So we learn about her character, we learn about her family, and we learn about the situation that's possibly happening in the new region. Every slot is filled. She is where she deserves to be. Little does our new queen know that she will not be reigning for as long as she thought she would, because of the next character that we will be going over. Oh, what? You thought I was gonna do the silent bullshit for this? We're watching the entire thing.
A sky of gloom bears witness as the bells of the convent chime. All you once had made is proof now of your crime.
This transition from a spooky theme to a circus, goofy-like chase sequence is just impeccable. Not to mention the usage of this entire song throughout the entire video just suits it so perfectly.
But you know what happens. Yes, you know what happens if you stay.
But it's not done yet.
Drawn to a hope in the distant scene.
Once again, Kuro pulls out one of these massive stops where they utilize a character's backstory to make an incredible character trailer. Just keep watching.
Comes from the eager seeds you've sowed, but the final die is cast. The end is coming fast.
Finally, as the climax of this video, they utilize putting the theme back into a jumpy, goofy mood as a way of showing that Rosia has made her redemption and has found herself. This is just an incredible PV. Everything is arranged so perfectly. The song syncs with everything so well, and it's just a huge relationship between everything at the same time. It's so perfect. There's no other way that I can describe this but besides the fact that it is perfect.
When the spotlight graces the stage once more, we shall return.
Now, you probably have a lot of questions. Why did I do that? Why did I make little interruptions within the PV to complement the character trailer? Why am I still up at 2:49 a.m. wasting my fucking time doing stuff that I didn't exactly need to do? The answer is very simple. I wanted to emphasize the fact that nothing is going to beat this trailer for the rest of the video. If that's gonna turn you off, I do not care. I just wanted to point that out. For the rest of the video, Rosia's trailer is going to remain on the top. You can still see, like, the rest of the rankings and all that, but just a fair warning, nothing is going to top this. I swear. And I'm glad nothing does, because this is just the perfect character trailer. It's so incredible. So with that being said, I'll leave the rest to the past me. Oh, hey, pause for a second. I gotta get my mind together. Wow, holy cook. Okay, that's very easy to place there. Jesus Christ! Wow, that was incredible. The pacing was great, and the way they changed the music according to the pacing was just incredible. That song was a banger as well, and I do love how they told, like, some of the main story as well, because, like, if you don't know the main story, the Fool's Trip is a trip of people that were, like, outcasted by the the Order of the Deep or whatever they're called, I forget. But it was pretty much like a story of, towards the middle right there, of Rosia trying to get her mind back together after experiencing that. Because they do this to anybody. The Order of the Deep doesn't, like, they don't show any mercy if you're, like, a, I guess, in their verse, it would be what they consider to be a heathen. But, the way she redeemed herself and the music picked up and just, like, the whole, like, circus shit and all that, it was just great. I loved that PV so much. It's definitely my favorite so far. With that, we are only on the last few for today's video on Wuthering Waves character trailers. And before, like, the video gets close to ending, I just want to say, if you're still sticking around after, let's see how it looks for me right now. It looks like this is around the 30-minute mark. So, if you're still around, thank you so much for staying. If you like content like this, please be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. I also do live streams. I might be doing hologram streams in August once I'm done my big content spike of July. So, just be sure to stick around for that. Also, look at all my plugs, like my community tab and my Discord and my Twitter, for like updates and posts and stuff like that if you're interested. But how about we end this strong with the last few character trailers. Now, Phoebe's was very, very easy to rank because it brought that aspect of realism and like a message into it. It kind of helps you connect this to like real life types of religion situations because like some people, I'm not going to get too much into it, but some people get like really crazy with their religions and whatnot, but that's as far as I'm going to say to that extent. Because, like, as you see in the trailer, you see Phoebe hanging around the Echoes, and then that like, old hag comes in, and she's like, oh, you can't be talking to those things, that's blasphemous against the Imperator, and stuff like that. And it just, no matter what, Phoebe always just clings to them, even after she's told, like, not to, and it's, like, a really sweet PV. So, with all that being said, here is my ranking for Phoebe's. Below Carlotta, but above Jaja, because the story that was told there, which it's actually kind of ironic, I didn't mean to do this, but I just now thought of this. The message in that video is also kind of like the message in Jaja's video, because the message relates to real life as well, because as you know, like, I'm not going to get too much into it, but religion can be a very arbitrary slope of stuff and all of that. So like, stuff like, oh, you can't do this or you're a sinner and all that, that kind of ties into how Phoebe was, because we all know Phoebe's like a gentle girl. She's a goody two-shoes and all that. She's a very, very nice lady. And, she was doing no, like, as the viewer, you see that she's doing no visual harm or, like, hurting anybody and stuff like that. But religion can see that different. You know what I mean? Bright's PV is pretty okay. Just a quick rundown. It kind of just shows him escaping prison, coming back to his crew as like a... kind of like as a performance, I guess. And then he also ropes some guy into it. They're like escaping the Thessalias and they go back to their ship and all that. I can't really say much because I don't exactly remember much. There's not exactly much to remember about that video. Which is why the following ranking is as such. I think I'm gonna put it below Shorekeeper though, because it doesn't exactly like tell me much. Actually, I'm gonna put it above Shorekeeper, because it doesn't exactly tell you much, but it was just like sweet to watch. It was really good. I just feel that it's better than Shorekeeper's personally. I don't know what it is though. Cancerella has a very insane trailer. First of all, we have the part where her mother poisons her as a way of teaching her something. I guess that's what she's doing? Because eventually Cancerella develops the ability to be, like, pretty much immune to poisons because her mother trained her at such a young age to, like, be able to do that. And just secondly, the lore behind the Thessalias is just insane. Like, it's nuts. And obviously, third of all, we have the final scene. We all know what's coming next. We all know what's coming next. Give it a second. Give it 1 second. Wait for it. Christ almighty. And with all that being considered, here is where I ranked Cantarella. We're going to put her in a tier below Brant, because that was good. Actually, I might put her above Brant. Let me think for a second. I'm trying to recall here. Zanny's show is also really, really good, and the part that I like about it the most is that it feels like a little, like, secret agent type of thing. Like, you see, like, that she's sleeping, well, quote-unquote sleeping, then she wakes up. But one of the parts that really, really impresses me is the battle sequence where she fights all of the Vitrium dancers after she, like, transforms into the Super Saiyan thingy. But there was a lot of, like, there's a good balance of humor and also, like, good action. And that's what I really, really liked about this trailer. It felt like a silly little heist type of thing. And, which is what leads me to rate Zanny here. And you'll be quite surprised. The reason why I liked it more is because it had that little, that, like, detective-y, that little secret agent, like, heist type of theme to it. It was really, really good. Also, one of the things that really does get me about Zani's EN voice actor is the fact that she actually has, like, a little bit of an accent on her, and I really like that. When you see a character whose residence ability is to sing and give herself power, you immediately think of characters like Robin from HSR or Astra Yao from ZZZ, and you would be right to think that way, because they both have music videos as their PVs, and Shakona is no different. The only real difference about Shakona in comparison to, like, Astra Yao, for example, is that she has a lot of lore inside of her thing. And we see this little scene of her helping out a kid who lost her father because who lost his father because his father was, like, trying to fight against the Order for, like, being, like, unjust and stuff like that, because they are kind of crazy. And we later have that theme of, like, triumph and stuff like that, with how the song switches and she starts, like, singing and dancing around in the field with a resonance ability. It's a very sweet PV. However, listen to what I'm about to say. But I didn't like it as much as I liked Rossia's. So maybe Cartithia is finally going to dethrone Rossia. Who knows? Let's find out. We're leaving it all up to the last one, Cartithia, to possibly dethrone Rossia. Will she dethrone Rossia? No, because I already said that she is not going to. Anyways, we really do end with a bang here, because Cartithia's trailer is just incredible. Like, Fleur de Lis, at first, she's, like, going with the flow and all of that, like, oh, Blessed Maiden. But then, when she starts to have her own opinion, and then goes against the Imperator, who's actually fighting the Leviathan, we then start to get into the action part of things here. We then get into this really cool fight sequence between the Leviathan and Imperator, and then Imperator eventually turns on, like, Fleur de Lis and starts attacking her, and then it ends with the Dimension Slash. I think I'll let past me speak for the results here. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bump Shakona down to Phoebe's area, and I think those are the final rankings. I think that's it! Whoever got to the end of this video, thank you so much for making it. I'm so tired, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'm just gonna leave it to, past me to do the outro, because I can't be bothered to do this, dude. I need sleep. I haven't slept, like, since, I have not slept since the 10th of, July, at, like, 5 p.m.-ish. Holy shit, I'm tired. Okay, I'm gonna let other me do it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to like the video and subscribe for more Gacha Gaming content. We are on the road to reaching 500 subscribers, so subscribe to make that vision possible. Comment down below any feedback in what you want to see next, and be sure to check out my community tab for goals and updates on upcoming videos, and also my Discord server for notifications on when I post or go live. Don't forget to also check out my Twitter. I shitpost, engage to my favorite creators, and yell at some dumbasses, so check that out as well. And with that, I am signing off. for now. Bye-bye.